Hello class, welcome back to the week 12 material, and in this segment we're going to show you how you can style parts of text or bits of text on your web pages. And this is actually going to be the first of two segments. The next segment will look a little bit more at how to actually color information or text on a web page, but that requires some additional material to be introduced. So for now we're going to focus on some other styling techniques that we can apply to the text of our web pages. So with that, let's go ahead and get started by getting onto the class server. And then once we're on the class server, we got to make sure that we go back into public_HTML. So again, we use the cd command for that. And then only after that can we actually open index.html in gany. Hopefully my tongue cooperates. There we go. So this is what we left off with. And the first thing that I'll go ahead and demonstrate is how to actually bold, italicize, and underline text. So you may be familiar with the concept of this from all the word processors that you've probably used for most of your life. So you can bold text, you can italicize text, you can underline text in word processors, and you can do the same thing in an HTML file. And the way you accomplish that is to use the appropriate tags. And in the case of bolding text, that uses the B tag, just a simple B. And then the closing tag for that is just this tag again, only with the / here, right after the less than symbol. And one thing that might be worth reiterating is this, whatever is in between the tags, that's what's really most important. So in this case, the text that's in between the bold tags here, that is the text that will actually be bolded when we go to view it on the web page. And if we want to see what that looks like, go ahead and save. And then go ahead and hit refresh, and you can see the text that we have here is in fact bolded. Versus if I don't have the bold tags here, then the web page looks like this. And you can see the text is not bold anymore. So go ahead and put that back in. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate what happens if you don't put some text inside of the bold tag. So here, I have the bold tag like I did before, but you can see that this text right here is between the bold tag. So that is the text that actually gets bolded. The text between the bold tags, that's the text that actually gets bolded when the information is displayed on a web page. And since this text is not contained within the bold tags, it is not bold. It is left as the default style, which is not bolded, italicized, or underlined. So if we go to view what this looks like on our web page, you can see the word hello is in fact bolded, but world is not bolded. And again, the reason why is because only the text between the two tags here is bolded, and anything not in between the two tags is not bolded. So if we wanted to italicize some text, or actually, let me do this. So it's a similar idea to the bold tag, except instead of the lowercase b, you have the lowercase I. And again, anything that's between the italics tags, that will be italicized when it's displayed on the web page. So if I want to see what that looks like, you can see that text is in fact italicized. And just like before, if I have text that's outside of the italics tags, then that text will not be italicized. So since this text is in between the italics tags, again, the italics tags given by these two tags right here, since this text is in between the italics tags, that text will be italicized. Since this text is not between the tags, it will not be italicized. So just to show you what that looks like, you can see this time text is no longer italicized when I go to view it on a web browser. And the other tag that you can have is an underline. So and in this case, instead of the lowercase I or the lowercase b, to underline text, you use the lowercase u. Again, just like before, whatever's in between the underline tags, that is the text that will actually be underlined when it's displayed to the web page. You can see that text does in fact have the underline beneath it. And again, just like before, anything outside of the underline tags will not be underlined. It's the same idea with the bold and the italicized. You can see the foundation here is not underlined because foundation is not contained within the underline tags. Now you might be wondering, is it possible for me to say bold and italicize text? Can I apply multiple combinations of bold, italicizing, and underlining? The answer to that is yes. In fact, I'll go ahead and demonstrate how to do that. So here's the setup you would use to both bold and italicize text. So I'll go back to hello world to again demonstrate something. So again, everything that's between the bold tags here, that will be bolded, and then everything between the italics tags here will be italicized. So in this particular example, since hello is between both the bold and the italicized text, the hello word here will be both bolded and italicized. In the case of world, world is in between the bold tags, but it is not in between the italics tags. So in that case, world will be bolded, but not italicized. So if you want to see what that actually looks like, we can go back to the web page. You can see by refreshing it, hello, the word hello is both bolded and italicized, which is what we expected. But world is just bolded. It is not italicized because it is not contained with the italics tags, but it is bolded because it's contained within the bolded tags. And if I wanted to take this demonstration a little bit further, so internet is not in between any tags, so that text is just normal. There, the word there is in between the two bold tags, so that is in fact bolded. And the word hello is in between the bold tags and the italics tags, so that is still bolded and italicized. If I want to see what that looks like, you can see what we have here. So hello, bolded and italicized, there, just bolded, internet, none of that. All right, so that's how you can bold, italicize, underline text and to use various combinations of those two things. And another thing that you may recognize from word processors is various alignments of text. So by default, all the text is quote unquote aligned left, which means all the text is written beginning at the left-hand side of the screen. But if you've been into a word processor like Microsoft Word, there are other options like Align Center, which allows you to center the text on the screen, Align Right, in which all the text begins from the right-hand side of the screen, and then this other funny thing called Align Justify, where extra spacing is added between each word so that all the words on that line fit the entire line. They fit the width of the screen. So you can do a similar thing in HTML. It's a little bit more of an involved process, and that uses something called the div tag. div, and then to align something, say center, you do div align equals quotes center closing quote. Make sure the closing quote there is there, otherwise weird things might happen. And then the closing div tag at the very end here. And then whatever text appears in between these two div tags, that will be text that is aligned to the center of the screen. So to demonstrate that, I'll say this text is the center of attention. And since this text appears in between the two div tags, that text will in fact be aligned center or put on the center of the screen or in the middle of the screen. If I do that, you can see this text is in fact being displayed at the center of the screen. And if I want to align something to the right, well, first let me go ahead and demonstrate something else. So since this text that I just put in is outside of the div tag, then this will not be aligned center. Hello there will not be aligned center, but everything else that we had before should be aligned center. So you can see now hello there is aligned left, which is the default option. And if I want to align right, then I just change what's in the quotation marks from center to right. And sometimes this will work without the quotation marks, but for the sake of reliability, make sure the quotation marks are here. And by changing the align to right, then the text will be set to the right-hand side of the screen. So if you sort of think about, if you're familiar with how Arabic works, Arabic is written from right to left, and everything is aligned right by default. So you can sort of think of that as what's going to happen to this text that I'm about to put in here. So I'll say this text is living right, and that text will in fact be aligned right. If I hit the refresh page, you can see it starts writing it from the right-hand side of the screen as opposed to the default option, which it starts writing from the left-hand side of the screen. And then if you want to align justify, then that means every single line will fit the entirety of the line or the entirety of the screen. But there's not much difference between align left in this case because this line cannot really fit the width of the screen. I'd have to go down to make new lines in order to actually get something like that to work. I'd have to put a lot of text in here to actually see a difference, but that's how you would do it.